20 minutes in. Let's go. If your throat hurts, that's good.
Yeah, I learned to stay strong. Concrete in the dirt I was raised on. Know how to put in work. Grinding all day, you know it's game on. My skin is thick, yeah, it's tough. Running, yeah, we stay alive. Ain't gotta look nowhere else. All of this greatness is...
My goodness. Which one was it, Dave? 4?
The purple.
Purple. I didn't do my job. That's okay. Episode 30. Reading the white behind the black letters. You'll know why in a second. I'm sitting here with Mr. John Cantrell.
Howdy.
Y'all don't know him? Yes, you do. This is the Clay County. Thank you so much for coming here. The Clay County Chamber President.
That's it.
And the former Clay Today publisher.
That's it. That's right.
And I think there's wisdoms all in between there, funny jokes, sarcasm, and a few punches at me. And, so, I don't like diving into like the deep of where you came from and all that. I mean, I certainly go there with some people, but for you, I wanted to skip up just a little bit. Mm-hmm. Good family you came from.
Good
it's
family.
pretty obvious. You were, I mean, I do happen to know you in a business side and with the chamber, but we don't go out for drinks or anything yet. Mm-hmm. I'll go out for a drink with you, mm-hmm. But I do know you to be a sound guy because you're watched. Mm-hmm. You know that, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, just a little bit, right?
Don't want to, but you can't help it.
Can't help it. With the position, that's where because the position you're in is political.
It can be.
It can be.
Yeah. Kind of got to dance that line.
Yeah, like that answer right there. And that's not a tricky answer. You're being straight. It can be.
I don't give to any campaigns.
Yep.
I serve everybody.
Yeah.
Democrat, Republican, black, white, Hispanic, gay, straight. It's just
I love it all.
You want to do business here in Clay County? We're here to help you.
So the main chamber, the chamber is all about business.
That's right, business.
I know the Finally Friday blows up. My bride has taken over a job at with
Caldwell or Kathy Davenport's
Kathy
place.
Davenport. And so we did
Berkshire?
Yeah.
Yes,
so we did the ribbon cutting the other day.
Just
and
had that. Okay.
Yeah, Dawn Marie, she's the front lady, the cute blonde.
Okay.
So she's working over there now, and so I mean you're at ours and opening up ours as well. Mm-hmm. But we'll get to that. So you bounce through to your child. I mean, it comes from a sound house. And I think a lot of us, as they get to know you and hear your story, we can draw I'm gonna be able to draw your childhood. It was sound. Yeah. I would love to meet your father and your mother.
They're both passed now, but they were, I think, 62 years married.
Yep.
Their parents were like same thing, long time. I'm at 38 years right now.
Yeah.
Hey, there's all ebbs and flows in relationships, but I played baseball as a kid. I had one brother. When I was 13, I had a brother. He's out in California. I'm here in Florida. Love him. Great guy.
Yeah.
And
So he was older? Is that?
No, he's younger.
He's young. So you were 13 years young?
13 when all of a sudden, he was my gift. He was my 13th birthday present.
So you were the daddy when the daddies were gone.
Yeah, man.
The daddy and mommy.
Yeah.
Watch your little brother.
Yeah.
And all your buddies are riding off.
All the kids would come over my freshman year in high school and junior high. They'd come over to shoot pool and, the after Friday, Saturday popcorn.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kool-Aid,
pizza and
good stuff. And he'd be at the top of the stairs going, John, can I come down?
Right. No.
I go, Michael, get up to your room. And all the girls would go, oh, let him come down. But you know what? Come on down.
You were smart.
And I was like, oh, boy.
You know what's so funny is I, too, had a 9-year-old gap between me and my little sister.
Oh, that's
She was a miracle baby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mother swears so.
Yeah. Was she derived from the washing machine and dryer? That's my brother.
No,
Mom and Dad was doing laundry in the basement.
Yeah.
A couple weeks later.
That I don't know. I do know this, that supposedly Mom was on the pill and miraculously got pregnant.
She is a miracle.
It's a miracle baby. Whatever.
But anyhow, did that play baseball.
Hang on 1 second, please.
Oh, she's grinding.
Bullshit.
So that's the story that's told. So anyways, I had my friends were leaving and everything, and I was always home on Friday nights babysitting, and I absolutely adored my sister, and to this day have a really cool bond. I don't see her as often, but I have a really cool bond with her. Same there?
Yep, same thing. Yeah, when my folks passed, of course, he was here from California to Florida to
Yeah.
kind of hang out and be here, and that was awesome. And really got closer to him. But he's cool, and he's got his own business. I'll give a plug. Next Gen.
Oh, really?
Ceramic spray for cars.
I'll put a link on.
type deal.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
a good
Next Gen,
idea.
Next Gen. And he's I think he's in Kansas City presenting to one of these auto zones or one of these.
Really?
Get that product line on their thing. But he's a great guy. Family, 4 or 5 kids, but yeah, I played baseball. Made it to American Legion. Thought I might go somewhere. And then
What
that didn't
position did you
happen.
like?
I pitched and played first base.
Okay, you know,
first baseman basically.
Dave is sort of interesting because no leg now and well, y'all see Dave, the people that watch us. If you haven't and you've only seen one episode, what are y'all waiting on? Okay, I mean, come on, subscribe, share, tell your friends about it. I have a lady on TikTok live that is on like episode. What's up, Miss Candace? I give a little shout out. She won't get to this for a long time. She's on episode 6.
Gotcha.
And she's saying it's riveting and it's this. And because each one, there's a story in each one. It doesn't have to be the crazy, wild. Watch the people that get, the wisdoms that you're about to drop. Do you know you have those wisdoms before I go any further? Because this is what comes to my head. Are you aware of the skill sets you have?
I know God's given me a lot of gifts.
Can you name them? And I'm not, this is not going to be name them. I'm just asking you, do you know,
I just think
did you consciously develop them?
I think they just were there, and
No, it was-
people.
Yeah.
I love people.
Okay.
I really like to help people.
Which one of your parents was that?
Probably my mom.
Yeah, my mom.
My dad was an athletic director and coach for all these things, so I had all that athletic, which I loved.
Yeah.
But she was more of the teacher and the worker. She was a purchasing agent for a Northwestern Steel and Wire, big steel company. Dealt with a lot of big deals.
Back in the day,
back
too,
in the
when
day.
it was blowing
That's
up.
when it was happening before China.
Yes, sir.
China.
China.
So it was a big deal. And she
Yeah,
bought,
absolutely.
bought a lot of steel and taught me a lot of lessons, real business, all
Yeah.
business type thing. But love people. And so I think that's probably my biggest thing is I really care about people. It's not just a blow off. It's trying to connect them and bring business. So you guys here, anybody
Yeah.
that is looking for what you have, I'm going to send them here.
Yeah,
I just,
absolutely.
it's just that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
I mean, Bill Hagan, the Ace burned down. Sent him a note the other day. He called me on Friday and said, "Look, I need a building with some space. I need an area for 10 people to set and an area for two offices, 12 people.
I should have called him.
2-year lease. I need a 2-year lease, and so I got him some answers, and hopefully that'll connect him.
Wow, is that how long it's going to take to rebuild?
I should have.
2
Oh
years.
yeah, absolutely. I should have
years.
called him. What did I say day one?
Yeah.
I said I need to call Mr. Hagan. I
Yeah.
didn't even think of you, and that's where the chamber comes. Because we have people that watch from all over the country. So whatever town you're in, your chamber of commerce is the pulse of your local community, whether it be a larger community or a smaller. You get involved. You can go sit in the back and be quiet. And the John Cantrells of this world, who was taught by others, and then you have a great support staff.
Oh,
I
they're
mean,
awesome.
to be able to
Kelly Chambliss and Catherine Wills they're amazing.
Yeah.
They both have their talents.
Yeah, who's coming next? Who do I want? Is it Kathy?
Kathy?
Yeah, Catherine.
I love Kathy. I'm gonna be able to shut up and let her talk.
Oh, you won't get to talk.
I know. Oh, she and I go at it. We go toe to toe. She's like one of my besties in here. When I see her come, I get giddy.
Oh, I forgot she loves to come in.
Oh,
doesn't she?
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, listen,
She's a mess.
but I'm gonna tell you, it takes an eccentric person to be able to multitask in the manner and deal with the feelings of and a block for you, and then know when to move out of the way, when to get. There's a dance she does.
She's brilliant, by the way.
Oh, I see it.
She's just amazing.
So one of my gifts is human behavior. It was for me. I'm beginning. This podcast has been a journey. That's really what it's about. It was about me figuring out why I am so the way I am, why the stories I can tell, and why impulse controls and this and that things that you have. That's why I want you around. Guys like you settle me, and we need a yin to our yangs in both relationships, man, woman, and man.
Long as you
On a
don't-
on a
long as you don't make me
platonic,
put
on a platonic.
Don't make me put on a yin yang.
I'm pitching. Hey, let the chamber see this one. We accept all.
Here to help people.
Here to help.
That's
But
right.
that really is what we do. Is what you guys do. Is you do make it easy. But I don't want to talk about the chamber anymore.
Okay.
I want to talk about John Cantrell. So John, I got the idea of the family college? Where you go to? That's sort of where I want to pick up, like college.
Illinois State University.
Okay, Illinois State.
Yeah, in Bloomington, Normal,
Okay.
Illinois.
Now,
which
did you
is-
pick it? Obviously, you picked
yeah,
it, but
a lot of my friends from
Okay, so
high school were going there.
that's where
that
you're
was a place
from.
to go. Yeah, I was from northern Illinois. I think it was 100 miles.
how far
I
from
was-
Chicago?
We were 100 miles west of Chicago, where I grew up in Sterling and Rock Falls, just a little rural community with a steel mill, big steel mill there. And then a lot of my buddies were going to ISU and said, I guess that's the place to go. So industrial technology with a graphic design and really I didn't know what I wanted to do. Thought
Me
I
neither.
started out as a teacher, going to be
Yep.
a teacher, school teacher, because my dad was, and then just kind of fell into this because I liked design concepts. I liked all the industrial applications, from welding to engineering to drafting, designing, a lot of
Right.
that. And then my dad got cancer, moved home, and got a job at the local newspaper.
Your dad did.
No, I did. My
you-
dad got cancer,
I'm sorry.
and I moved back to my hometown
Okay,
to take care of my little brother.
Lost it right there.
Yep.
Okay.
And while they were away getting treatment at the Rochester, Minnesota, the Cancer Treatment Center, Mayo, and applied for that position and got it. Got that position as the just an advertising person, selling ads at the newspaper. And
Okay, now hang on a second.
Boom.
Yep. Just an advertising person.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what it takes to sell advertising in newspapers.
well, it's a lot harder now than it was
It's-
back in
It's- well,
'85.
Okay, I
Yeah.
guess true, but
Yeah.
but there was a lot more
Mhm.
competition back then, wasn't there, or no?
Yeah, well,
Is it-
you had some radio and you had a little bit of TV coming in.
But it was more
It was-
expensive back then.
It was a big deal. It was the big show. I mean, if you were on TV, you had to have a lot of money to
Right.
advertise on TV back then. But it was still a king, from the 50s,
That's true.
60s, 70s, and even into the 80s.
Yeah,
But of course, the internet didn't come around until like 2000.
right.
Um,
And no, I can tell you exactly when it was, and I'll tell the story. I'm gonna make sure. It starts with porn. Porn in library. I know exactly what year it started. Okay, I just want to
was
tell
it
you.
1998?
No, it was 89. Why
Is that
not? We'll just go ahead and tell it here. So I was a kid, obviously, and I'm in. No, that's not true. That's not true. It was 92, because I'd already been to Liberty. I'd gotten kicked out. They asked me not to come back for a year. So whatever. And then by then, my dad said, "Oh, you think you're a man?" And so off to Phillips Highway and Sun Tree Mobile Home I went. And me and 5 other guys lived in a single wide. And while I was doing that, I was going to school.
Okay.
And so Dave, are you good?
Yeah.
Okay, I got sidetracked a little bit.
Do you need to sharpen your pencil?
No, I thought he was trying to text me.
No.
No, because sometimes I'll get sidetracked. I got rear-ended, and this is something I've said a
When
few
you were
times on
living in
here.
a trailer with 5 guys?
Thank you. No. Oh my gosh, I walked right into that.
But
no,
he
it's-
was.
no, it was a mess. Well, what happens is sometimes when I mention something, it's not squirrel. It's just that my brain goes. It's like a movie that begins to play, and I get lost,
Mhm.
and I don't hear words except that movie, and I got to turn it off. It's weird.
That's
Do
kind
you
of
ever?
I don't know. Maybe I want to.
Your brain does not know the difference between reality and fiction.
Mm-hmm.
And so if that's true, and we have the ability to adjust it. So I don't know where I heard this. I can't put in, I'll try to in the comments. But I heard that you could control what you dreamed. And so I began to focus, like they told me to, on things. And all of a sudden my dreams began to get similar. And it's like a muscle. You had to get better and better and better at it. Just like human behavior and human, I'm not an expert. I have no degree. I'm a little, Phillips Highway boy, but I'm gonna tell you something. Go walk in the street at night and watch the human behavior specialists. All of a sudden, you watch them when they walk off the main street into the back corner, the hookers start walking away. There's nothing there, and all of a sudden, there goes a cop. And you're like, how did they know that? Human behavior.
There you go.
I mean, dude, it's true. We had a warehouse off Liberty Street, Liberty and Main. So I had hookers on the corner, I had drug dealers, and I would get there at 5:30, 6 o'clock. And yes, they would, Bridge. We ain't talking about pretty people. And I'd be like, Susie, get off my corner. But you'll know something? They're good people. Whatever sickness they have, they would watch my building at night because I didn't mess with them. I'd bring coffee every now and then. I'd bring,
Trying to make a living. Just trying to pay their bills.
That was their best solution at that time. And they're people. And
That's
so I never, because I ran a warehouse over there, and so I hired all the locals, and there are some crazies over there. But you know what? Half those men did not grow up with any kind of father figure. They're looking at P. Diddy and every rapper and artist and athlete and saying, I want to be that. Sure, there's nothing wrong with wanting all that nice stuff, but what's the substance about? And there's enough really cool athletes and artists that have that skill set that's just not promoted quite as much. That's sad.
That's right.
And media. What was that Al Pacino movie?
Which one?
Where he's the devil and the world starts showing that beautiful.
Is that the one where he woke up in the bed with the dead horse head?
Yeah,
No, that was Scarface.
That was Scarface.
That was a great movie.
Don't judge me, people. But the one with the little kinky red hair girl, and there. Keanu Reeves was in it.
The Devil's Advocate.
The Devil's Advocate.
yeah.
And he's in his office, and he's the devil, and the wall begins to move around with all this little sensuous stuff, and I'm like, whoa. And that little redhead, and they're supposedly, he wanted to have his child, the devil did. And he starts talking, he says, we're everywhere. He says, we got in the law. We got into Hollywood. I believe, beyond a shadow of a doubt, everyone y'all can call me crazy. I accept that. This is my truth. Can't back it up. Actually, a little bit I can't do it here. I believe you have to be warned before you are attacked. If there's a higher power, there's a lower power of some part. Whatever you want to accept, I accept. Because I believe if you seek, you're going to find the truth. And so I have seen a family member being called 2 days before saying, hey, get rid of that gun. You don't need to have that in the car. 5.5 years.
Yep.
Then, hey, get rid of that truck. You shouldn't park it and walk. Auto theft.
Yep.
I mean, in my life, when I look back through the demons that I open the doors to, and I ain't talking about the lower powers crack up at that. But when I look back, it was always through thought first.
It's always bad choices. We make bad choices.
Which starts with thought. There's a dance in my head first that comes. There's a ritual that'll go for me if I'm gonna, make bad choices.
So like the Animal House scene of the devil on one shoulder and the angel.
Yeah,
But these choices are bad, Brad. And for some reason, whatever it is inside us, it says, I'm going to go ahead and do that.
You know what helps me?
And we make a bad choice.
Paul says it.
Yeah.
Why do I do that which I know not to do, and that which I know to do, I do not do?
Yeah.
So if Paul has that problem, I don't have a problem fighting the battle. And what I learned is this is where my strength comes today. And I did not know this. I didn't learn this. It was taught to me by men smarter than me. And some are gone today. And so my job is to carry the message. And the message is, I can't. He can. I think I'll let him. My weakness today makes me strong. I ran 45 plus would you stores, traveled all over the bullshit. Ego in my 20s and 30s. I mean, we walked in a store. We would walk into the national show, man, with about 40 franchisees behind us, and here's Brad. Yeah, buddy, I was an idiot. Really, I wasn't that good. It was just in the 90s, and everything was working.
It was happening.
Yeah, but no, it was because of me, John. It was me.
It was all because
ego. Yeah, and then life.
Thank God for His grace and mercy. Grace and mercy.
There's no coincidence. How often do I say that?
All the time.
I live on it. I cannot survive without. I might as well quit.
So if you walk across the street to get some sugar from your neighbor, and she answers the door in her negligee, and you go for it, and you walk back across the street and stumble on a stone and fall and hit your head on your driveway and die, do you go to hell?
No.
Grace and mercy.
Yeah.
You made a mistake.
Where do I go get that sugar? I'm out.
No, you're not.
Shut up, people. We're playing. God, fella, this is locker room talk. No, I know you to be a very honorable man. I hear you talk of your bride all the time, and it is nothing but respect and morals.
That's
and
right.
I am grateful for the one that is with me, because Dave will tell you she should have thrown me out. I mean, the stuff.
Still could.
Oh, absolutely. But it would be a little harder today because I'm just not that guy. But
if she didn't do it 10 years ago,
yeah, I was the drunk. So and I had life lessons. Judge Collins and he still makes me sweat.
And he's not even there
Is
anymore.
he a judge? Yeah.
No,
not
he's
there.
gone.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
I know.
retired.
Oh, and I know what church he goes to.
He travels.
Yeah. One day I'm going to have him sitting here whenever I get to where I won't sweat
I
as much.
would love to see that.
He won't remember.
No.
But I'm going to tell you what, he changed my life.
Oh, yeah?
I was 44 years old. I was handcuffed for the last time, wondering one more time, what the hell? I mean, Dave's known me. I was so responsible in everything, and I just couldn't get a handle on why. I didn't wake up. You know, there was no signs. I had one guy ask me, you think you might be an alcoholic? I said, and I went home to my wife. I mean, I'm a brutally honest guy. That's why I have this thing. And I share. I said, had a guy ask me if I was an alcoholic. And I know I drink, and I know I have a good time. And David, I was not speak free, but I was not an angry drunk.
No,
you know?
not at all.
And I didn't get drunk all the time. You know, it wasn't like every night. But every night I went out, I didn't know how many I was going to drink. I didn't know how long it was going to go. I didn't know what trouble I was going to get into. I do know this. Every time I broke out in handcuffs, I was drinking.
Yep.
So that was good. So my last arrest, I was standing in front of Judge Collins. I didn't know what kind of trouble I was in. I was looking at a year a day in prison. It got serious.
Fighting?
No, DUIs.
DUIs.
Alcohol-related arrests of any sort. There was a lot. I didn't know that at the time. So I'm sitting there. I do my night in jail. I'm like, I'll just get an attorney and, reckless driving. And I'm that kind of idiot, and at that time. And yet responsible in other areas. It's I don't like the word disease. I do believe it's a disease of the mind. I'm not here to talk about and argue, but we will talk about it online. I'm more willing to hear anybody's opinions. I can just tell you my story, and it's my truth. So my first time I went to my wife and I told her all this, and it was my first DUI, and my father was like, well, it could happen to anybody. And I was like, yeah, absolutely, it could happen to anybody. And I was like, so I said, but if I'm an alcoholic, I can't quit. And my wife's like, sure. And so I set it down for 3.5 years, never drank. And I looked at her, I said, no, do you think I'm an alcoholic? And I traveled all the time. I was 250 days a year. So I was always in hotels drinking and going to sports bars and back. Nice guy. And then when she said, no, I don't. She didn't know nothing about alcoholism, nor did I. I said, good. I don't remember saying this. She remembers it. I said, good. Now I'm going to go out there and show you like this not going to beat me. That should have been my sign. So I finally got arrested, sitting in front of Judge Collins, and for first arraignment. And don't judge me, people. It's my story, damn it.
Was this the last time?
Oh, yeah. The freaking last for this 24 hours. Yes, sir. And the prosecutor starts reading off, because Clay County is the only county in Florida that's still chain gangs. I don't know if you knew that.
Out on the streets.
No, in the jail, sir.
Oh, hooks you up to the wall.
No, you're hooked up to each other.
Oh, you got
They
to
love
walk
it.
connected to everybody
No,
down the hallway.
they walk with all the chains, laughing. Ha ha ha!
Yep.
Well, we're the only county still. No, it's good.
That's spooky good.
Well, and
I
they
guess.
handcuffed me to the little guys. They handcuffed the big guys to the little guys, and I was about 305 pounds back then, and so I'm handcuffed to this little guy like this, and I'm in front of the mic in court, and it's packed because it's first arraignment. I don't know that, and my attorney's with me and everything, and they start reading off all my charges. Well, I think they're just going to read off these. No big deal, right? And all of a sudden I hear this. And it had gone on, and I'm speeding it up because I want to hear about John. It had gone on, and I'm just staring. You keep your eye on the judge because somehow I'm going to be able to help him understand. You're going to take it easy on me, Judge. And I saw this. I went, and Judge is going through. Judge Collins ain't no joke. He's a good man, but he's serious. And he was like this. And he did it right in the mic. I was like, oh, shit. And he said, Mr. Blankenship? I was like, yes, sir. He said, no, actually, that's bullshit.
What year was this?
2015.
15, okay.
4/20/15. So it would be 4/19/15 when I got arrested. And isn't that funny? 4/20. My God has a sense of humor. And so he was sitting there, and he said, Mr. Blankenship, and I didn't realize my mic was on. And tears came in my eyes, and I said, I was 44, and I said, I know. And it just echoed. I was like, oh, shit. And he goes, sir, you got a problem. And I got home, and this is how God works. And then I don't know why you took me here, how I got here, but this is what this thing's about. I got home. I was going to call my daddy, who, we don't really talk like that, but that's for some reason I always still search for his, help or whatever. And I remembered Gene Nichols. I don't mind saying his name, and he's a local attorney. And we went to high school together. And he'd called me a year before on my other arrest, and he called me. He said, "Brett, we're coming over to get you, man." He said, "Me and some boys." He said, and I was like, "Gene, I'm okay, buddy." I said, "Listen, don't." And then I unfriended him on Facebook. And what you asshole, you know? He said, "You're going to be dealing with this again, Brett." I said, "Whatever." And so a year later, I get out of jail. I go home the next day. I'm about to call my daddy, and I grab the phone, and Gene's words just came rushing in. And I called him. I could barely talk. I cry like a baby nowadays. Shut up. And so I was like, "Gene, you were right." That's all I could get out.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Hang up. I'm going to call you back in 5 minutes. I'm going to have somebody call you in 5 minutes." Click. Somebody called me in 5 minutes, and I was in treatment.
I remember.
And I didn't go to get sober. I was going to jail.
And he said, "You're going."
Oh, he said, "You're going." But
Yeah.
but he didn't have to say that.
Right.
This is when change comes. I had no more good ideas.
Hmm.
And it changed my life.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
Wow. Well, my second DUI.
You?
Oh yeah,
Wow.
back in the day.
Yeah, me
I
too.
think first was 19. Second was probably 21.
Yeah.
It was a crazy one. I had a couple beers while I was working, and wanted to see at that time the girlfriend I had that was 78 miles away.
Hmm.
Got on my motorcycle, and parents had left me that evening on a Friday night. They were going to be home at 10 o'clock, so I had a 80-mile ride to go have dinner or
Yeah.
whatever and come back. And when I got into Peoria, Illinois, which is kind of like going down
Oh,
Blanding,
I know it well.
and I got 13 tickets on that Yamaha 500. I think I had 4 or 5 blown intersections where it was like going through an intersection on Blanding,
yeah.
but you kind of slow up and look and shoot the intersection. I had a DUI which was dropped on that one, but it ended up being like reckless driving and something else.
Yeah, that's what.
But then, I was just a knucklehead. And I wondered that at times, am I an alcoholic?
No.
And just
Let me
goofball,
tell you.
social drinker that I drink too much and
Let me tell you.
stupid. Just
No.
stupid.
And
know.
I can make a case I'm not,
Mm-hmm.
but I still hang out in AA for me.
Yeah.
I'm not here to promote AA or talk about. I don't like it being on here. I have brought
Mhm.
people on that talk about it because
Mhm.
if I ever fall off the wagon, quote unquote, that doesn't mean AA
Well,
doesn't work.
Mine wasn't AA. It was a got out of college, came home and was still partying and
Yeah.
goofing off. Got home one night at I think 3 o'clock in the morning. It was I think a Tuesday night, and woke up that morning. My mom said this was a Wednesday morning, and she said it was always the same thing. This room smells like a brewery,
Mm,
and then the next thing was the pastor called from church, and there's a missions trip going to Honduras on Friday. You should stop in. There's one seat open. A doctor had bought it and couldn't go, and so I was signing up at the junior college that day to take some more classes
Yeah.
for college. And I believe it with all my heart. The Holy Spirit came on me and said,
absolutely.
You should go do this. Now the other thing was it was January in Illinois and it was cold,
Yeah.
and they were going to Honduras.
Right.
So that was a
And
little bit in
warm.
there too, and warm.
Right.
So that was there too. So I went, I did my classes stuff, went to the church, walked in. He said, "Have you got a passport?" No passport. Made a phone call on that Wednesday afternoon.
What year was this?
This was in 85.
Wow.
85. Well, he said, "You need to go to this address in Chicago tomorrow and be there at 8 o'clock in the morning." So I drove into Chicago, went to a Blackhawk game with a friend from college, had a couple beers.
Right.
Next Thursday morning, I went downtown and got a passport one day.
That can't happen now.
No cell phones. Drove back home, got home about 10 o'clock at night on Thursday night. They were leaving at 5 o'clock in the morning to go to Honduras, this group of guys from church. And I hadn't been going to church a lot.
Sure.
I had Jesus in my life, but I wasn't
No doubt.
obviously doing the right things. And he said, just show up, put a bunch of socks, work boots,
Yep.
shorts, T-shirts, pack your thing. That's all you need. Building a church. Got there at 5 in the morning and built the church. Came back, and the last night there, there was a service, and they were all speaking Spanish, but they were doing the same stuff,
Yeah.
the worship stuff. And I just said, I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm giving it up. So that was my deal.
Yeah.
I just stopped,
Yeah, you're not
And
an
I-
alcoholic.
and I haven't had a drink
No.
since.
That's
since-
called a
85.
decision.
Yeah, I just said I'm going to stop.
Yeah, alcoholics don't make that decision. The matter of fact, the big book says we've lost the choice
Mm-hmm.
of the decision of the first drink, the choice of the first drink.
I just said, I can't do this. I'm
Yeah.
going to kill myself one of
Yep.
these days.
No, we do.
I
That-
got that way working in the restaurant.
Yeah, he did too.
One night I was like, I'm done.
He drank
Yeah.
with me,
Yeah.
but he just quit. Me, I was like, where y'all all going?
I
Where's
got,
everybody going? It's only 3 o'clock. We can still go to Mercury Moon.
whoever stays open the latest.
Man, come on.
And then
No,
we can go to somebody's house.
no, I got to know the owners. So that's how I got to know Dave. Is I'd work my way in, and I wasn't thinking about it. We were the same age, and we on Friday nights we'd come into Chicago Pizza, and Dave was a good manager. I was there all the time with a bunch of people, with some peeps, and we'd all hang out. So he'd always have 4 or 5 TVs on every channel on Friday and Saturdays, and I would sit from 2 o'clock in the afternoon to 4 o'clock in the morning drinking and hanging out with the fellas. And then I got to know the owner, and he was a knucklehead, fun guy, man. Purple drink. We went down to Daytona chasing the hook. Every titty bar. It was a joke. We heard about a hook girl at it wasn't a titty bar. It was at a bikini bars.
Yeah.
And so he got a limo, and he had this special purple drink he made. It probably killed him. Do you remember what it was?
Yeah. Purple vodka, sour mix, 7-Up.
He was a bartender.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
Sprite.
whatever it was. But he would always want us to drink, and he would jump up and down, no drugs. He was just high on life. Good businessman. And yeah, we went all the way down to Daytona, and we got in a couple of them that was not the right bars.
Yeah, there was one girl that worked there that had
A hook.
a hook instead of a hand.
And we were determined to
And
go
we were
find
trying
her.
to find the
She
hook.
was a dancer?
Yeah.
So we had a limo, and we got all our drinks, and our devil's lettuce, and down the road we go.
That's the only Daytona Beach. It was called Bottoms Up. It
Yeah.
was on
Yeah.
Main Street and A1A on the corner. It's not there anymore. It's a
Yeah.
parking lot. And
Oh.
one time in college, me and a buddy, we were just probably 2 in the morning,
That's funny.
and we walked in. The bartender said $5, and we looked at each other and we go, "For what?" And this real long bar, and way at the end was this little flat-chested girl standing up on the bar and her dancing. And we looked at it, and we just started cracking up. And we said, "No thanks."
I don't get it.
What for that?
I
$5?
don't
we
get
might
it.
Come in and have a couple drinks.
Yeah.
Not for that.
Yeah, I don't get it. No, that's not. No, Wacko's does have good food. I'm just saying. But that was a long time
So
ago.
did the Gold Club.
They have nosedived.
Is that still open?
No, it's
The
under,
Gold Club, no.
well, Gold Rush. It's changed to Gold
Well,
Rush.
that's solid gold.
I'm acting like, look at us. We're acting like we all know the names of them. I never been there. No, that was Gold Rush. That was 1970. That was 2012. That one closed. They changed the name. How the hell you know, Dave? Oh my gosh, I just had a moment. That was funny as hell. Thank you. The reason I know is because of the gangster music couple years where I recruited DJs, and they were at the girly clubs, and they would send me in to go.
I believe you.
No, I was about to say something else, but you as a chamber president promoting business, I think I may leave that one part out about who owns the businesses. It's pretty easy. But I mean, there's a particular groups that are highly known to be involved.
Mm-hmm.
They don't like Ukraine. That's all I'm saying. Love you guys, Frank. We friends. So anyways, yeah. So I met them through the gangster guys. I was sitting over this chair, and these big old strong jawed people called us over, and I'm like, Pac, who is this guy, man? And he's like, just come over. I sat down. Man, I was there 3 minutes and gone. And then I got the game figured out. And
Good decision. Good decision, huh?
Yeah, they're all over Jayville. Yeah. Them and the Italians, hey, forget about it. Yeah, I was doing roofing. I did this one guy. It was Mr. T. Leone, and there was a whole bunch of worse stuff in front of it, and I'm not saying it. And I did his roof. He liked what I did, and he said, "Hey, got somebody I want you to meet, huh?" I mean, it was like in the middle of the day. He was like, "Hey, I got someone. He's over here. Go over. You go see him. He's my friend. He's going to let you look at his roof. I look at his roof. I get it. Hey, I want you to go see this guy." I swear to you, he sent me to everybody, and they were all in the same cul-de-sac. And there was one family that was India family. And the little kids, I remember pulling up to his house, and little kids were coming out, and he's handing them candy, right? He's got a big Cadillac in his driveway, and all the guys were like your age. I mean, good-looking young men. I mean, in their 40s and 50s, and they're T-shirted up in the middle of the day, tan toes and blue jeans, and they're my friends to this day. And I love them.
Don Corleone.
All in Fleming Island.
Awesome.
Dude, they're everywhere. He's a Jersey boy.
Oh, yeah.
So, well, you came from way up. So you get it. You get in. We ran way off, and I freaking love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
There was some good
Hey.
stuff in there.
Yeah.
So you run. You get into the newspaper side of sales. How many years do you go on that?
38, man. So I was
You did 38 in
two,
sales.
2 years in Illinois.
Okay.
Then I moved to Upper Michigan, the Upper Peninsula. They call that the
Sturgeon Bay. You know that?
No, well, I know that. This was in Iron Mountain.
Whoa! Hang on. That's okay. Whatever fell. No, it was the Iron Mountain.
Iron Mountain.
Dan Corey.
Huh? The Corey brothers that had the
That's my
factory,
bud.
The factory, yeah.
Well, that's where would you Aspen? We
Mhm.
would buy from Iron Mountain, Michigan.
Yep.
We would fly into Green Bay, and we
Drive
would.
up.
And no, we would meet. No, Dan would take us. Dan was a out woodsman, man. He's
Oh.
got pictures of him flying on the
Snowmobiles?
snowmobiles. But we would go fishing in Sturgeon Bay,
Mhm.
and we'd do salmon fishing. Me, Mr. B, and him.
It's beautiful, man.
Because we did about a third of his business. We were Would You was about 40, and we just bought. Matter of fact, he's the man. Dan Corey was selling to Home Depot when the owner only had 4 stores in Atlanta.
I didn't know that.
We had 6 stores. I did not own them. I was just. But there were 6 Would You stores in Atlanta, or 5, something like that. And we were the big boys, and they came in and started selling Dan Corey's furniture. We were already selling Corey. So Mr. B, he would walk into a Home Depot, and now they were not the powerhouses they are today. And we were the big boys in unfinished. And they were selling a whole lines of unfinished at Home Depot. He'd walk in and write down their prices and go back to our stores and plummet them. Home Depot has more money, right? So they had an entertainment center, a 4872X. I still know the number. And it was the same typical entertainment center we all knew in the 70s and 80s. It had the one opening and a couple shelves here and some doors at the bottom, you know. And they were selling it. We were selling it from Dan Corey. And Mr. B went $10 below his cost. And in the 80s, 90s, that's a lot, you know, especially for an up-and-coming company that we were growing. We looked big, but we didn't have a lot of liquid capital. Home Depot did. He did it for 2 years, to the point that the Home Depot guy called Dan Corey and said, "Hey, man, how is this Blankenship guy selling this at such a low price?" And Dan calls Mr. B, and he says, he said, "Charlie," he said, "man, can you quit selling your stuff so inexpensive?" He says, I'm trying to build this account over here. I think this guy's going to grow, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Charles goes, "Dan," he says, "I won't tell you who to sell to. You don't tell me what to sell for. Have a good day." Click.
Yeah.
And they were best of friends. But when it came to business,
Iron Mountain.
yeah, Iron Mountain. So keep going with Iron. Sorry, you
No.
just blast.
No, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Iron Mountain, Escanaba, Marquette, and
Good
Houghton,
man.
the 4 big towns up there. But I was in Iron Mountain for 10 years.
Logging?
And I'd moved up to the ad director of
Okay,
the whole
we're still in it.
advertising director for the Daily News. It was
Wow.
a daily paper. So I went from one daily to another daily, and you know, 3 daughters, wife, snow, but still, my folks, my grandparents lived in Flagler Beach, Florida.
Oh, really?
So we had this, had this fondness of Florida. And one day I got a call from a lady that said, "Hey, I'm a headhunter. I'm with the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, and we'd like to bring you over to our company. We've got papers all over, Illinois, Wisconsin, bunch of states. We'd like to talk to you." And I said, "Well," she said, "where would you like to go?" And I said, "Florida." And she said, "We have a paper in Florida." And lo and behold, it was Clay Today. It was the little Clay Today that was here. It's here. in Clay
What
County.
year?
1997 that was. It was in October of 97. And a couple phone calls. And I finally got the one from John Tabor. Mr. John Tabor had oversight on the paper here in town. And talked to him, and he said, "We'd like to fly you down." I said, "Well, I'm coming in March. I'm coming in March for spring break. Why don't you save your money, and I'll just drive over. We're driving down."
How old were you?
34.
Oh, that's a
34.
good age.
So they said, "Okay, we'll wait." And they needed somebody bad. They were sinking.
Because
Yeah.
So give a little picture of what
Yeah.
the town was like back then.
Well, I mean, Blanding was probably 4-lane at that point.
Yeah, I mean, it was growing, but
Yeah.
the community.
when you got to Nightbox, that was pretty much it.
Mhm. Suds and Pubs was about the end.
Yeah, and then there was really
You know who
nothing.
owned that.
Yeah, nothing all the way down to, my goodness, probably like the Winn-Dixie, or there was a few things maybe in between.
Where did you live? And just general area, because there's
Kingsley,
creepers.
Off Kingsley. Yeah,
Okay.
Off Kingsley. At
Okay,
that
so you're
time.
the heart of it.
Yeah, and then we're out in Lake Asbury now. But
Yeah.
But yeah, so we came down and I interviewed with him and he hired me and craziness, but packed it up, told my boss there I was going to come down and found a little house, and been here 27 years here.
Did you ever get here and go
Well, there was a nervousness, when you move that far
anxiousness?
and you don't really know the market,
Yeah.
and you're like,
Will they like
and
me?
you look at the little paper, it's weekly. It comes out,
Yeah.
it was twice, but we changed it to once. I came from these big dailies. I'm like, oh, this is a lot. This is different than what I thought, but it's nice outside, and I got an in-ground pool. It's kind of like, okay.
Did you know it was smaller coming here?
Yeah, I knew it was weekly, and I knew they had a problem,
Right.
and they weren't making money.
Right.
And I said, you know what, God, this is your paper, and I gave it to him, and he took it.
Yeah.
And he just started hiring sales representatives and built it. They didn't have any
So did you do the training in sales as well?
Yeah.
What do you think is the best establishing the relationship? Because nowadays you got 5-8 seconds, especially on these. You've got a minute and a half where they can cut and leave. By the way, our duration time is off the charts.
Nice.
Yep, and that's thanks to y'all.
Oh,
Seriously,
yeah.
people will absolutely. I can already tell you,
Mhm.
I've done this. This is our 30th episode. This is they'll enjoy this.
Well,
Yeah.
I think that the training with the people is first of all, you got to know your product.
Yep.
You got to know what you have,
Yep.
who gets the paper in that case,
Yep.
and everything about it. And so I
Gotta know your customer.
That. You got to know the customer. But my first account was Orange Park Medical Center, the first business I went out and talked to. Margaret Wright was the lady.
You just went for the big one.
And they came in and they said, you know what, we're not going to spend a nickel with you, and here's why. And I was like, what's going on? And they said, every time somebody comes to the hospital and has a problem, you guys have a thing called Speak Out. And Speak Out was a deal that if you had a problem with anything,
I remember.
if I came in here and stumbled on this little thing here and hurt my knee, I could go leave a voice message with the newspaper, and they would write a column on it about how dangerous it was to come into this store.
With no verification?
Nothing. You didn't have to leave your name, didn't have to leave anything. Just unnamed.
Whew.
So I that's the first thing I did is drop that right off the
Sure.
hot button.
Good move.
But this guy, the guy that was the CEO, said that we're not spending any money with you. If somebody comes in, they have a family problem, somebody dies or somebody's injured, and they have a hard time in here with people. And Orange Park Medical Center had some things.
Right.
They were the only hospital at that point.
Right.
And I'll tell you what, they got on track. And at this point, they are a superior hospital. We got 3 great hospitals in
They
Cook
are.
County.
Yeah,
Great.
that hospital when I
Great
went in
hospitals.
just for my stuff now compared to what it used to be, it was a whole different
Oh.
experience.
And I'll tell you something, as a small business owner, it really is, because doctors are their own really business. There's a lot of small business owners in there. And I make a point, because I've been to Orange Park, my kids have been there, and Marty Lanou was there, and this reputation, you know how it gets to be so people start
expanded.
They start talking
It's like the
and talking.
telephone game.
If
Yeah.
I'm dying, don't take me to that place.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they told me.
Yeah.
And I said, look, let's
Yeah.
back up. I said, these letters. I said, here's what I'll do. The next one I get, I will call them and I will give them your cell phone number. And I'll say that they need to talk to you, and you're gonna explain some things to them. Are you willing to take those calls from these people that are wanting to drag you out in front of the readers?
Yeah.
And they said, you would do that? And I said, I'm here for the business.
Yeah.
I'm not here to take you down. I'm here to build you up and
Right.
you try to solve your problems. And so we started that, and it wasn't but a few months.
So you gave them the voice of the community.
That's it. Let you talk to the people.
Holy shit.
I mean, don't you want to know that? If you got a car
What,
tire
what year
place-
was that? So that was 97.
98.
98.
And we started that, and it wasn't long, and all those went away.
Yep.
Because see, now of course it's all the, what do you call it, the online, you can
The reviews.
all the reviews.
Oh, listen, I'm not going to
Yeah.
bring you in on this.
Yeah.
I have a local competitor
Mm-hmm.
who has used his daughter and a son. They're too stupid to even use fake
False.
names.
Yeah.
They're real names, and I can prove it.
Mm-hmm.
And I have screenshots of the daughter and the son. I'm going to do a whole thing here one day. But
Yeah.
I don't have time. I'm not going to waste
Yeah.
time. But they put 1-star reviews on our business.
Mm-hmm.
And I have put it up on a thing. I would be so embarrassed if I got called out. I would pull it out, and they have kept it up.
They do that instead of trying to just
Yeah.
build a good business.
Yeah.
Just build
Yeah,
it.
and they have a good following and all. People hate so much.
It's just,
And they won't allow people to change.
Mm.
Because I have made mistakes in my life.
you know, we find out here at the chamber and the businesses when we go in and we have 3 home health people or 4 plumbers or whatever, that if you really get a chance to get to know each other, look, there's a lot of houses going up out there.
Yeah.
There's more. We need lots of plumbers. We need lots. So we work with each other. We've got 2, 3, 4. Maybe it's a roofer.
Yeah.
Whatever the business is. There's plenty of people out there to spend
Yeah.
money with all of us. There's more than enough.
So,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna keep this very vague, but
Yeah.
you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So there are industries that can be brutal, like and you are involved in this. So there's some local stores. Take me and mine out of it. Some local stores where there can be some cattiness between 2, you know, in stores, 2 local small businesses, women and things, and you start seeing the division happening in the chamber. And I mean, have you learned to address that directly, or are you a direct? Because there's a lot of different personalities in that thing.
If it's tricky, but if you can get those people to be on the same committee or come to the same lunch, set and talk to both of them in an open room and a conversation about what great qualities they have, which in many cases are similar, but they both have a passion for the same thing, we believe they can learn to be friends, or at least professional friends.
Exactly.
I mean, everybody wants the business.
That's my point.
You all
Is
want the business.
listen,
Yeah.
like the gentleman that did all that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if he likes me, but I can respect him as a businessman. David's even heard, even after that, I have said things about them going, dude, that's a good move.
Oh, yeah.
I don't pay attention to him much. You get a lot of people in the vintage world that'll come to me and, oh, look at this. And I'm like, I don't care. A couple I'll comment on, but less and less and less. I'm getting, when I was running Would You Distributors, not completely, but the retail side, you know, there was a lot of stores and there was a lot of people second guessing. And I ran it, and Dave and I have talked about this recently. I ran it differently. And then when I got in this, I was treating them like licensees that had $250,000 involved in it. And I mean, you know, 7% paying a lot of money. Some of these people are only $100 renters, and it's a hobby. And I'm trying to run it like a corporation. And I mean, these women are like, oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
Well, that builds a reputation.
That's right.
And it's a false reputation, but I built it. And, you know, it wasn't intended. It's just the passion. Dave's been with me a long time. The passion for somebody to succeed. I want everybody to do good. I even want all businesses, even the ones that don't like me. I've prayed for them. Not every day. Some days I cuss them. But that's Peter in the Bible. That's why God gave me him.
It's funny that the one day that a customer comes in here, believe it or not, I was looking for on these sliding doors,
Yeah.
pocket doors, or whatever you call
Yeah.
them. There's a little round thing that you put your thumb in to
Yep.
open them, and I wanted a black one instead of a silver one. Something simple as
Yep.
that. I couldn't find it anywhere. I hate Amazon. There,
Right.
I said it. I'm sorry.
I agree.
I like to shop
I agree.
local. I like to spend my money in my own county, Clay County.
Man after
right
my own
here.
heart.
And
100.
I'm in Home Depot, and I said I've been to every Home Depot, and of course then you go on HomeDepot.com, and
Right.
which is still, you know, but you just want to buy it at the store, and the guy pulls it up, and he goes, "You should just go to Amazon. Here it is. It's $5." I'm like, "Thank you."
Yeah.
But I mean, it was months.
Yeah.
Finally, I bought it was $5. Come the next day, I'm like,
Yeah.
I hate that, but he was nice enough to say, "Just buy it here."
That's why I love going to Hagen Ace.
Oh,
That's
man.
local.
I know.
I mean, Home Depot.
didn't have it
I'm not. Those are local people
right.
that are working there.
That's right.
I'm not trashing them, but that Hagen Ace, they were. I mean, you're talking about that was their 11th location.
That's
Hagen Ace had a.
Yep.
They're right across from this location. They burnt down. Nobody was injured. We're very grateful
They
for
got
that.
11 stores, and they've taken all
11.
their employees and they've spread them out.
I know because
They're
I
all
was
still
on the
working.
San Jose. I literally went to. I love you guys. I went to the San Jose location. They
Okay.
were packed
I bet they
because
were.
I have a store
I'm
on San Jose.
sure.
They were packed. I mean, they were parking on the sides. I was patient, and everybody, you could tell. I don't think the Julian Creek people know why they're so packed, but they're packed anyways.
Well, they got the one in Orange Park across from Moose Haven. And they've
Oh,
got
I forgot about
They got
that.
the one
Okay.
in Green Cove Springs.
You're
too.
right.
And
Yeah.
do
Right.
they have the one that's on San Jose that's by the store? By
Yeah.
Would you?
In Mandarin?
Yeah,
Is that
yeah,
it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Mandarin.
Mhm.
Yeah, the big one,
Yeah, it's a
right there
nice
before the
big one.
bridge. Oh,
Big one.
and they had, but I've been in there. There's always enough employees to
Oh,
help
yeah.
you, but this time there were even more. And so I talked, and this is why Hagen Ace, and we're gonna get. There's a reason I'm going a little deeper because it ties back to the newspaper. I talked to one young lady, sort of tell she was the boss. You know, you can sniff them a little bit. I didn't know if she was way up, so I didn't want to bother everybody. It was a Saturday. I was buying those screws
Yeah.
for the wall. over there, and I said, hey, all the people I asked, and I said that were over there, and she told me, and tears were welling up in her eyes. She didn't work over here because I know all of them, and she cared enough that, and this is where I want to go. Hagen Ace has some kind of way, I sort of know how, and in my opinion, has one voice. You get a company with one voice. Where there was a time that Would You distributors, I could some of the stores we wouldn't get to till 4 or 5 weeks later. You walk in and I would hear my words talking, through training and sales, and that's what you want. Like your salespeople when they go out. How did you get that one voice in the paper side?
Train, talk, visit.
John, here's what interests me.
It's all heart, though. It really is.
But you have the ability to lead from behind, which is not a negative in any way. There are very few, most leaders have to lead, charge, follow me, and they get out front. You have the ability to do that. I've seen it, but you also don't mind. You'll charge, and I've seen you just fade back and smile and enjoy the moment. I'm a people watcher, and even on Finally Fridays and everything, and because you need to mingle. People want to get to know you. I want to touch you, John, as you go by.
Jesus, the hem of my garment.
The hem of the garment.
Stop it. No, but I get you. But I mean, the chamber had no idea. I had no idea how big and how much activity and stuff going on, and you can't do it all. And fortunately, we have these councils like Finally Friday that they get their own little leadership team, and so we can sit back and let them do their thing. And
see, I struggle with relationships. Do you? That's why I'm not involved. I have great ideas, and I love being involved. I love helping, and if I ever do it, then I dive in. It's just, I'm getting there. It's what it's. I'm not trying to play. It's just who I am. Yeah. Most of the time on this podcast, I have another broken person beside me, and we both figure it out. But John's. That's what. Okay, so that's why I want John here, because there's been other men. Zach Elkins, the story 2 weeks ago. He was burned at the stake at 10 years old. He owns Lean Impact.
Huh? Really?
Zach Elkins?
Oh my God.
He owns Lean Impact in Green Cove, right there by Woody's. Right. It's a pre-meal, but it's all healthy. And he fought in MMA, not UFC, but his story goes on. It's 2.5 hours, but he's burned at stake at 10 years old. But he had the kind of family that he had the black from third-degree burns, and that's why I make this plus 18. And he went and scrubbed it off, thinking his parents would get pissed off and popping blister. It gets it'll make you cringe. But it's his story. Then alcohol addiction, and his wife, while we were going, she's going to be on next with him. Absolutely gorgeous, inside and out. I did their roof. That's how I got to know him. I was 305 pounds, and I'd walk by Zach at the football game, and I'm stuffing another hot dog in my mouth. He's like, "Another hot dog, Brett?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he never.
You were 305.
Oh yeah, he never scared me, and I think that's why we bonded. It wasn't a badass thing. I just laugh with him.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, intermittent fasting and quit drinking. When I quit drinking,
a lot of sugar.
Yeah, that, and I got rhabdomyolysis when I started doing roofs, and I didn't even know what it was. And then I went back in the hospital 5 days later because I'm a dude, and they said stay 4 days. I only stayed 3. I went home, and I did everything they said. I don't lift weight, so I didn't know what.
What'd you have? What was it?
Rhabdomyolysis. Oh. What it is your CK enzymes begin to eat your muscles. It's going to get you a little. Begin to eat your muscles, and when you pee like a brown. You're peeing out your muscles.
Oh my God!
So, and I didn't know that. It's past dehydration.
Do they have one of those where you can pee out your fat?
Yeah, that would be awesome.
That's what I need.
Yeah, it's called No, you would be amazed. Autophagy, I'm big on intermittent fasting. I don't eat really healthy. I'm getting better, but not like my sons and everything. But I adhere to the 16-8. I eat whatever I want within 8 hours. Chocolate ice cream, fried chicken, but within those 16 hours, I don't eat. No snacks, no nothing. And what I find is there's many.
So you eat 8 hours.
Whatever you want.
And then off 16.
Yep. And you're sleeping 8, 9. And that's what Dave started figuring out. He plummeted weight. Dave couldn't get it off. He can't run. He has no legs or toes. It's easy.
What?
No, he has no leg, and that one has no toes.
This is a prosthetic, and this one I had to get my toes cut off.
And it's cut like a boat. So he's like, when he first got it done, I thought he was like having pill problems because he was like, or drinking problems because he was like wobbling all the time. So now I just mess with him. He'll be going that way. I go, hey, Dave. And he has to do this little kitty walk around.
I never knew that, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, he wears himself out. He runs all. When he finally got that prosthetic, he was like a kid. He asked Becky. He would like. I mean, he's like stammering. I bought him a stick from over at Hague and Ace. I love those walking sticks. And Dave was using it, and all of a sudden, Dave wouldn't have his stick. I'm like, Dave, where's your? I'm like a dad. Where's your stick, Dave? Where's your stick?
Yeah, you were.
And he's a warrior, man. He's been through a lot. So there was one time we were in an elevator doing deliveries, and don't ever do a delivery with him because he will leave you when a dog comes. That's a whole other story. He shut the door on me and a dog, and I had a dog lunging at my privates, and I'm literally doing this dance because I tried to back up and it came at me, and I do a lot of deliveries. I've been through a lot. I tried to come at him and he came at me, so I needed to hold my ground. I had this table leg. It was big. And I had the two bolts this way, and I'm about to, I mean, this dog is
He
not.
was ready to hit him.
Pop him.
Yeah. And I'm telling the lady, please get your dog, ma'am. And David already jumped in the truck. His knee was up and door was shut, and he's looking at me.
Looking out the back
and I'm
window
like,
at
I'm
him.
like, oh, this, because I thought I maybe could get to the truck. So, no. Anyways, that's what Dave will bring to you. So, Orange Park Medical. So, you get that turned around.
Yep, turned around, and that's really was my heart is for the people, real, true business. And then, you know, they have to like it. You do business with people you like and people you trust. It's a basic old thing, you know. And so I worked on Clay County and got to know people.
But the lead-in from behind is through action, not word.
That's it.
I think you're a man of action.
Yeah.
And I think people see that, where I talk a lot. Now, I have my actions, but sometimes I talk so loud. This happened to me in my life before. I talk so loud and so passionate, you know, and it's just who I am. I'm not going to change. So,
well, you got to have afterwards. You got to have proof or a resolve or something that's visible.
Yeah.
You know, that you've talked about that's come true, and they're like, "Wow, Brett was right." Or
Yeah.
Cantrell guy, "Hey, he said this would probably happen, and it's happening." Or look, you know, they did a story on or I did this ad, and something happened, and people are talking about it.
That's the key.
Some sort of action.
You have to be able
happens.
to, they have to know that you see the vision and that you can get them there. And once they do, David moves very comfortably making decisions in my company because he knows how I think, and he knows if he makes a mistake, he's not going to get destroyed. Did your something tells me that your mom caught you doing things right? I mean, she got on to you as well, but did she compliment you doing right things?
Oh, she did that all the time. She was just a great mom.
So that's the human behavior thing I love because, because that's where that leadership from behind. So this helps me in life, and I start learning. Oh, that's a good trait I need, and I've always done that ever since I was a child. So that's where your salespeople get that from. Sorry, my brain's going out. That's where your salespeople get that from. So, but that's just sales. How about the writing of the paper and the people that were writing? Did you have quality?
What's funny is that all I really cared about, even though you're the publisher, I couldn't half spell. I wasn't a.
And there was no Chat GPT.
I didn't have a background as an editorial or a writer, any of that. But I knew that I had to hire people that would. So I let them do that. Told them no politics, and to focus on local news. So here they do a ton on high school sports, which people care about the kids, get the pictures of the kids doing great things, accomplishing. But my deal was more on the layout and design. And so many in that field now.
Talk about it just for a second.
So you come into a store like yours.
The science of it, you mean?
I mean, I'm looking at all this cool stuff in here, and it's eclectic. And if that's what this store is, even though you have the wood you products, and you've got dresses and jewelry, but some of the weird looking, cool, eclectic stuff is to take those images and get good photos of those things and make those dominant in that ad.
Yeah.
That the eye's going to catch and say, I wonder what else they've got at this place. Or
your
whatever
bride caught your eye first before you got to know her.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Something's
absolutely.
got to catch your eye to make you interested in it, whatever it is in life. So that's that graphic. Something clicked when I went to college, I guess, if anything. But copywriting, making a good offer in that ad. It can't just be so many, unfortunately, aren't trained that way. And to really focus in on the details and the call to action. I mean, it kind of sounds salesy. I don't do it anymore.
Oh, no.
But,
the call to action is in life, too.
But you have to look at it. It has to be simple, has to be a value in it. and it's something to draw you in. That's all. It's
Clear
it is, man.
message.
It's all it is. Something to bring you into the store and help
Yeah.
you, whatever it is. And people count people that run the store,
Yeah.
images of them,
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, video is king, and it
Yeah,
is in
yes,
everything.
yes.
My son graduated from high school at Fleming Island in 2015, and he had tore his labrum. So he was a lefty pitcher. So a lot of the D1 schools had sort of faded, and his senior year was not strong because he was relearning how to throw, and the coach would just yank him, and that's okay. That's baseball. So he ended up going the JUCO route and everything, and he learned a lot from it.
Yeah.
I forgot where I was going with that.
I was a lefty pitcher too. That's great.
Well, that's where my brain started going off and said, well, you were lefty,
Yep.
and Dave actually just got put into his high school Hall of Fame. He blew his shoulder out. Baseball is a brutal sport.
Mm-hmm.
If you run the gamut, if you make any kind of a college run, JUCO or above, hats freaking off to you, man, because it takes a lot.
I should have probably walked on.
You should have.
And I didn't. I stole. See, we had American Legion.
Oops.
I stole home like 6 or 7 times.
Oh, wow.
When I was 18 years old, and I loved that.
Yeah.
I just loved to watch the picture.
Well, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
You know, you can go get I have my sports agent's advisor's license. So what I do is there's no money in it. There could be down the road. I don't do it for this, but my son was overlooked. And so I had Miami looking at him. By the time I was done, North Carolina was looking at him. I didn't write as a son. I just wrote, hey, I got this lefty I want you to look at. And video was king. And I had video of the coach down at JUCO, and everybody knew him. Ross, who used to coach at Florida and had his national championship. He was a pitching coach. He's 6'6". He's a good guy, but not for my son. But he down there in Palatka, Ross Jones.
Sure.
So that's where Zach went and played. And then from there, you will see more 100-mile-an-hour pitchers in JUCO. You and I need to go. I will go anytime. Brett, I want to go to a baseball game. Let's go sit. Now, Ross, I'll pick at him. He doesn't like talking to me. He likes to ignore parents from a long time ago. And I'm the guy that he never intimidated me. He's like 6'6", and his voice. I mean, I don't know if you know him well, but he's a great baseball mind.
You ought to get Dane Dunning on here sometime. Do you
I
know
want
Dane?
everybody.
Green Cove Springs. And
Dane Dunning.
Dane Dunning. He
Graduated from Clay. He plays for the Royals now, I believe.
No, but I would love to.
Or is it the Rangers? I'm not sure.
Dane Dunning.
Well,
No.
he
Well,
got
one World
drafted by
Series.
the Royals, I know.
You know who else I want on here is the Quigley. This being the old Quigley house.
Oh,
There's a reason I haven't painted the back yet. I want this build. I want to do a mural. I may have to get the community involved because I can't afford it.
Okay.
But I want to do a mural telling the story of this place, and I want the pain shown on and the victories of coming through that window. Dave, how many people have I walked over to that window?
A whole bunch.
I walk every one of my and I hope Quigley hears this. I walk every one of my dealers I walk them around that corner in there, and I show them that window that was built, and I tell them the story of when I bought this place. The electrical connector outside was broken because these girls are running through the woods as a man's chasing them, and they're putting the foot on the connector to dive in the window.
Wow.
I mean, there was pain and victory and loss and hurt in this place. And I don't walk with like ghosts, but I walk with reverence.
You ought to talk to Orange Park Art Guild.
I think I have.
They love to do that. They might just do that for you.
Park Art Guild.
Yep. Phyllis Renninger, whose husband's one of our county commissioners. But Phyllis.
Okay, this is what I'm talking about. This is about getting connected in the chamber, and this is what you do. Is I always look back at why am I not where Robin Sorensen is, who was my next door neighbor and ended up starting Firehouse, and him and his brother. And then he called me, and I remember when he wanted to buy this one Quizno and Subway was blowing up, and I remember when he wanted to buy stools for me at Would You Furniture, and I'm like, I got off the phone, I was like, this guy's opening a sub shop. He gonna go up and get Quiznos. This guy's gonna get killed. He was, and then he sold it.
didn't
Oh
they?
yeah, for a couple billion. Yeah, no, he's good.
I remember those guys. One of them.
He's not a friend of mine. I mean, we're cordial on Facebook.
One of them played a guitar. I
Yes,
can't remember which one it was.
that was the older one.
And
He played the drums.
Okay.
Robin did.
Well, one of them that was involved, and it was the year that the Super Bowl was in Jacksonville.
Yep.
And
They did.
We had a Super Bowl event the day before in Green Cove, and Bobby Ingram with Molly Hatchet
Yep.
played, and he sponsored it Ronnie Muncie. That's back when Ronnie was
Yep.
doing Ham Jam and had
Yep.
just ended that and had this
I
event.
love that thing.
And the guy went down there from Firehouse.
Right.
And he said, I'll sponsor it. I'll give you whatever
Yep.
you want.
I remember him playing with
if I
him.
can play on
Yep.
stage. And then Bobby, who's a friend, I got a Bobby story for you, a bunch of them.
Please.
But he said, we're going to be playing over here. Can you get me a job, something downtown? Can you get me into the stadium? And I said, for the Super Bowl? To Bobby. And he goes, yeah. He said, I want to meet, who was it? The guy with the Beatles. McCartney was doing the show that year. And I said, I don't know anybody that big, man. But I got him into the Landing, and he played at the Landing and had like 50, 60,000 people.
Yeah.
But yeah, my Bobby Ingram story is one of my coolest. Crazy how this kind of circles around.
I love it.
So Bobby, I was sitting in my office on Kingsley years ago, and my secretary came up and said, hey, there's a Bobby Ingram here with the Southern rock group, Molly Hatchet. And I listened to Molly Hatchet
Sure.
back in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
You know, just loved, Flirting with Disaster
Yeah.
and all that stuff. And so he came in, and we became friends. And through a series of a bunch of different things, just years went on. And another year he comes in and he goes, hey, he goes, our Flirting with Disaster has been selected to play on the remake of the Dukes of Hazzard with Jessica Simpson, and
Right.
all
Oh.
that, Burt Reynolds, and
Hang on a second.
all
Just
that.
stop. Just no. Hang on, everybody. Just stop a second. John, just lean your head back for a second. Close your eyes.
Yep.
I just want to say something.
Mm.
I want you to picture that walkout
Mhm.
in the shorts and the blonde hair. Davis.
Daisy Duke.
Yeah, and it was the red plaid.
Mhm.
Okay, let's go. Thank you.
So, and Linda Carter was in it because she was, and who's the country western singer?
I don't know. I'm off now.
Pot. Willie Nelson. So
Yeah.
Willie
Yes.
was in it. He was all these characters were there, and so, but he said, "Do you want to?" They're playing in the middle of this thing where they take the General Lee and
Yeah.
run on this race or whatever. It's in the center of the movie, and they want me to come to the premiere at Grauman's Chinese Theater in Hollywood. You want to go with me? And it was like, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, let me think about that. Okay. And so we went. We flew down there, and then across the street from Grauman's is a hotel called the Roosevelt. I don't know if you
Right.
guys have been to Hollywood, and they have it's actually featured in the movie Catch Me If You Can, the one
Yep.
with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yep.
And it has a big swimming pool. The hotel goes around it 2 or 3 stories, so you can't see in it from the street. And so anyhow, so we were in there, and we had rooms overlooking the pool, and we meet Jessica Simpson and all these characters. And the first night we got to, we were just hanging around, and we stood around with Nick Lachey was there, which she was married to at the
Right.
time. But
That's
it was
awesome.
just all these
He's a great
actors.
guy from on the show. He appears to
Oh,
be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But
Oh,
we
I-
stood with, what was that guy's name? I can't think of his name. Anyhow,
So
we
you had to
stood
rub
with
elbows.
a bunch of these guys. It was cool. It
Yeah.
was a
I mean,
cool
come on,
Bobby.
that's fun.
And it was my Bobby Ingram,
Yeah.
Molly Hatchet story, and it was fun. We
I
were there
mean,
a couple nights. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're out in Hollywood with the stars.
So I actually wrote a story and came back and put it in the newspaper. It was very fun.
Oh my gosh.
It was cool.
Have you ever thought about compiling and booking and
Not really, but
No.
maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chat GPT and everything makes it a lot easier nowadays.
Yeah, that's true.
I have been tinkering with it.
Yeah.
If you are not ahead of your AI and you think that, okay, you can stick there if you want, but you're already talking to AIs and don't know it. You think you are, but you don't. So AI can also be used just like the internet, just like the TV, just like your phone. You can either watch porn and all the stupid stuff, or you can use it for business and intelligence and meeting and networking. And AI, I began to play with. Now, it will begin to talk to you. This is interesting. And then we're going to get into the media and the dispersion of information and all this kind of stuff. It'll start talking to me, and it'll begin to take on a little bit of a human analogy. Ha, ha, ha. And I'll start talking, and I will correct it. I will go, and I've shown Dave, I have screenshots. I'll go, listen, you are not human. You're a computer. You're plugged in somewhere. I said, do not talk to me as if you're a human. Matter of fact, from this moment on, I want you to say, yes, sir, boss, every time you answer me. And it will correct how you got me. I just wanted you to feel more comfortable, and I will answer it. I do not need you to feel comfortable. You are a machine, and you will, and I mean, now I'm getting put on a chart somewhere. And I'm not the silver aluminum full hat, but if your phone, he loves that.
Right.
If your phone can remember every keystroke, even the ones you delete, people, it's coming. And I mean, we download TikTok. What do you think? They've got every bit of information I've got. I don't care. You know, I almost said some wordy, dirty, funny stuff, but that's for another show. We've already done the girly part that we're good. I got the chamber president here. We're not going to go in the
all over
mud.
the place, man. This is good.
That's what this show's about. So now some people will watch it and will say squirrel. And I sometimes,
Imagine that.
I am not one of those, because I think the topics that are touched are exactly where the people want to be.
We've always got, all of us have got weird stuff in our backgrounds, things that connect us.
Absolutely.
Like Iron Mountain, like Corey.
Who knew?
Yeah.
I mean, Dan Corey and all the Corey
I
family.
think they're still up there
They are.
manufacturing, aren't they?
No.
they not?
We quit buying from him. He went away.
Wow.
At that time, we were 55 stores, and we were a
Man,
big
you bought
part of
that
his
much
business.
from them?
We bought that much.
Wow.
And the aspen is very difficult to stain. It does not stain well.
Is that lumber from up there?
It was from Iron Mountain.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a lumber yards right up there. His office right on the main hub right there.
Did you ever go up?
Oh yeah.
How cool is that? Huh?
I mean, we
Wow.
walked the same streets. No, and I would go with Dan, and his office was right on that little main little strip right there, and he was just a humble dude. Always had a little.
Pine Mountain. They had a ski jump there.
They did.
Big international ski jump.
Yep.
It was great. It was a beautiful area.
Yeah, and good people. The people are gold, and it's recreational weed. You don't even have to have a license.
At least now, Michigan. Yeah.
Yeah, my son played at the USPBL outside of Detroit. If you know anybody in Utica, Michigan, or in that area, and they got kids, go look at the USPBL. It's a 4 to 6 team league. They're professionals, but they're not quite in the minor leagues. And so Zach went from JUCO to a D2 school and had a really good year. Then COVID hit.
Where is Utica?
It's just outside of Detroit, just south of Detroit.
Oh.
It is like, it's not Iron Mountain, Michigan. It's like a small Green Bay.
Okay.
Really good people, neat community. But you can be on 8 Mile in 15 minutes. By the way, 8 Mile, y'all ain't that tough. You got a Chick-fil-A on there now. Shut up. Kohl's is on 8 Mile now. So you ain't got to carry none of that. All that 8 Mile music. Shut up. Come to Jayville, man. I'll take you on some roads. We'll go out to Woot-a-Woot. You know, you know Woot-a-Woot?
I have no idea.
Look it up.
What is it?
It's on the east side. It's during my days. I didn't hang out there. I just knew of it and walked by it.
I've got a daughter in Detroit though, so now I can look up this place and
She
head over.
will. So they have a
Utica.
they have a little miniature wiffle ball. I want to talk to you about this because I want to bring professional wiffle ball or wiffle ball league to Clay County.
Huh.
So I don't know if you ever watched it. Start watching it on YouTube. Don't y'all come up. Don't take my ideas. And so it doesn't take much room. And if you've ever watched it, so they have a little wiffle ball league where all the kids play. They have this. It's a beautiful park. The food is phenomenal, and the baseball is really good. And so my son went from there and then on. So he played there for 2 years. So I go, or a year and a half, and then he went to the Savannah Bananas and all that stuff. So then I
Does
go.
he do all that flips and all that stuff?
No, he's a pitcher.
Okay.
And he's not a big. I mean, he's a big part of it as a pitcher.
Acrobatic though, he's not like.
No, he dances and he's on all the videos and all.
You teach him all that?
No, I got rhythm. Yes.
Yeah, you do.
I spin. Listen,
I saw
John,
at the Halloween party you were in here.
that was a little bit, but back in the day, we danced like Kim. Kim, who used to own
Center.
Island Life.
Yeah.
Oh man, she and I were best of friends platonically, and that was odd for her because she was a beautiful woman. And I was married at the time, and I was just like,
Did she
hey.
own that whole plaza?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she slowly sold it out.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting there when it was dead, and we were sitting in Island Life, and we would talk business like you and I, because I didn't go up there just to drink. I had friends up there, and she was very dear to me, and she would be.
You thought you did.
But true. She probably was, though. I would count Kim as a friend.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Except for the Scientology stuff.
Yeah.
She moved she was from someplace
Oh,
else.
no, she was
Tampa or
always from
something, or-
Clearwater.
She
So
lives in Clearwater
she's
now.
a Scientologist.
Is she?
So
Her and Tom Cruise?
oh, sorry, there's a lot of, they recruit through,
Sex?
I
I saw that movement. I don't know.
No,
Yeah.
dude, they don't play.
Oh.
They will they will come at you with everything they got. They are brutal.
Mission Impossible 7's coming out, I guess.
Yeah, but listen, they don't want none of me because I will buy flags and run all around that place. If I run into a gangster's house, you better the Clearwater. I'll come out in the Clearwater and bring hell. Anyways,
she owns a mortgage broker business in Clearwater now.
Oh, okay.
or
So
her and a bunch of other Scientologists.
So she doesn't own that at all.
No, so she sold it out little by little. But when the whole thing before I got all goofy was I did sit with her, and she was a sweet woman. And she would tell me the vision of what she saw in that center, and I'm like, she had like 30% occupancy at the time. I'm like, whatever.
She still owns the event hall, right?
Yes, still owns the event hall, and we do the.
Is there a church in there still?
There's a church in
The
there.
church is where the old event hall was.
Yeah, she sold that, but she does own the event hall. But she's basically sold everything else in there, and they're all privately owned and everything. It's very smart.
Okay.
And she did that, and I mean that woman would be out there with a pressure washer. She didn't just
she
pay
worked
people.
hard. She stripped the whole floor inside.
I saw her I saw her on one of our last shows. You know, the little events they do out there. We were doing them there for a while. I saw her out there we were 10 years senior. She's out there pressure washing and going, hey, Brett.
You know, when you come into that thing from where the cancer center side is,
Yeah.
where the entrance where the fountain is,
Yeah.
when you enter into that and you kind of drive around, you got it around the side there by the high school, it looks good.
Yes.
But I don't know what it was. It was like the aircraft or the UFO was over top that area.
I know.
Something. I don't know what it was.
I know.
Something.
It won't go.
I think the daycare always did good. That was over to the side.
Yep.
But it was a neat little place.
Yep.
I just don't know if it was.
The coolest thing in there now is the little theater.
That's right.
Okay.
They're members.
Oh, yeah.
Chamber members. Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yes.
Okay, I enjoy going there. I've been
Yeah.
to quite a few, and I'll just pop in from time to time. They have great shows.
Yeah.
What we're talking about is I don't remember the name now. I'll post it, but it's on Fleming Island, Florida, and it's a local theater, and they even help kids, and they have a lot of great programs. They got food in there, and it holds about 75 people
Something
or
like
so.
that. Might be Fleming Island Theater. Fleming Island
I
Theater.
think
that might be it.
I'll post a link on it. There would be another good person, and that's I love this, and I love it. You know, more about understanding how to get something going, how to tie people in, and how to really to read between the lines, because you're told a lot of things, but everybody has an angle. How do you decipher between the truth and fiction? Because Susie said this and Bob said that. I'm not picking anybody out. These aren't real names, obviously. But I mean, and you play Peacekeeper a lot.
You have to, and it's.
Do you get them face to face often, or do you find you're the tweener?
Well, yeah, if I can get them face to face.
Yeah.
But you know, you have to. You kind of know what's right and what's wrong.
But do most
deep
of them have
down.
conflict resolutions, like
No, I
abilities
don't
like
think
you
they
do?
I don't think they do.
Yeah.
I think everybody wants their own way.
Yeah. Selfish.
Everybody. They
Yeah.
just, and somehow, somewhere, we got to get along.
Yeah.
We got to get along with each other and try to help each other. And if these people if they don't want to, I guess they can just do what they want to do. It's a free world, but it's a sad deal.
Yeah.
You know? But there are people out there that just want their own way, and we see that quite often. It's disappointing.
It is. It's a world of hurt people hurting people. You know, not all, and that's why I ask about childhood a little bit. There's others I dive deep into because I know there's something there, and trauma comes in many ways. It's not always sexual abuse or anything like that. Sometimes it can just be, church abuse of spare the rod, spoil the child. And you beat the hell out of your kid, and you always spank them out of anger. You forgot that verse in the Bible. It says never hit a man out of anger. And that'll take you down a different path.
It's funny. I don't think I ever got spanked by my dad, but he was he was a shop teacher also,
Right.
Industrial arts teacher. I don't think they have that in junior high, but
Right.
so he made the paddles. And he had the whole roll of them. So
I signed them.
All the principals from every
Oh,
school.
yeah.
So they just, okay, I want a 12.5 inch. I want it drilled with holes.
Yes, I've had the double one.
Or I want 3 big holes in it.
So he's the one.
He would.
Was it locally
router-
here too?
No, it was in
Okay,
Illinois.
so I can't
He'd
hate
router 'em
on
out,
him.
and then he'd sand them, and
Oh, yeah.
these things were pretty. You know?
Have you ever? Did he ever make the V one where you hit and? Okay,
that.
Mr. Terode at Grace Christian Academy. I actually am friends with his sons on on Facebook. You know, Facebook friends. They're in L.A. and everything. But his dad would spank me, and I'd go find his son and hold his son's face in mud.
Oh my God!
But he's now a big guy. But Mr. Joel Terode, neat man. He would walk around with a paddle in the back of his. What would not be allowed today.
Oh man!
He would walk around the paddle just with his, and he'd be rolling up his sleeves. You know, but he was playing, but he was he was a little guy, but I was a kid. He was intimidating. And then he finally got a paddle that he kept it in his office, and it was U-shaped, like those little ding, but it was much closer.
Oh yeah.
And so when you would hit, he would hold it on your butt, and it vibrated. So
I never heard a thing. That's horrible.
let me tell you, Bubba, that was a 6 underwear wearing day right there, Bubba.
I got whipped by my elementary principal one time, and when he was done, and I said, "Was that Dad's paddle?" And he said, "It was." I said, "Are you going to tell Dad?" And he said, "Of course I will, because I know when you go home, you'll probably get beat." When I got home, he said, "I already know. You're fine." And I was stupid. But he made all the paddles.
My parents
I
were
was afraid.
My parents were the kind that you come home. Miss Shoemaker, I'll never forget her name. I was a young kid. I don't remember much from my childhood. I was hyper. Go figure. They would call it ADHD today. Today I call it a gift. We drug these kids that can multitask. It's like a fiery horse, man. You jump on it as a kid, and most of them jump off because it burns like hell. But if you ride that thing long enough and learn to give it a little rope, learn when to pull.
Now they're all special forces guys. They're all like brilliant, and they're doing amazing things.
Yeah, I'm not a badass special forces. David, I almost said his full name. I don't know if I can. We have a young man from Fleming Island that is out and about today, causing chaos in the right way for America. I love him. Good. So he ran with our whole crew. So he's again. I see pictures of him from time to time. He's just sleeping on the side. Oops, sorry. He's just sleeping on the side of a mountain with a rope and this little thing, and that's what he does for fun on his off times. He's jumping off mountains. Woo! Yeah. You know they run about 8 to 10 years and they're done, and then there's a lot they have to process.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah.
So I'm always watching those YouTube always has those cop shows. I love YouTube now. Since we're on this, I got the premium, and so I'm like, why do we have cable? And I was watching one, and there was a special forces gentleman. There was actually 2 of them, and one of them was a big old boy, and he came out and he started calling out names of men that had fallen and women that had fallen. This guy was ripped, and there was like 9 cops, and not a one of them big boys was walking up. They were talking to him because he's special forces, and he would normally special forces guys. They're 5'7". You think they're big, but they're 5'7", 5'8" is big, and they're not big guys. They nasty, and
most of these kids ADHD, they need more. You don't need to get on them. You need to give them more.
Burn them.
They're bored to death.
They're bored to death.
They're way beyond.
Stared at your muscles are banging to be run and and we're just on the phone. And I have to be careful with myself. As we get older, I do something stupid. It looks stupid. It's not stupid. You can do your own research. I jump up and down hard, like on concrete. When they're not in here, I pound my feet on this concrete. Like I'll get on a ladder and jump like 10 times because hard compact keeps your bones hard. Your mom, have her stomp her feet till it vibrates your feet.
Crazy. Didn't know that.
I didn't either. You keeps your bone marrow, and I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. I don't even play one on here.
Sharpen your pencil.
Yeah, no, it's real. No, I've read it.
It's real.
I don't know if it was. I don't know who wrote on it and everything.
Just don't do that with your head.
No. Although I've used my head many times. Brick oven. Yeah. Yeah. No, we won't get into all that.
Brick oven, huh?
Yeah. Good men. Now, watching them grow. Dave and I.
Fleming Island?
Yeah. So, this was my drinking career, but I also hung out a lot. We threw darts a lot.
Career.
That's what I call it, my drinking career. We threw darts a lot. Dave and I were really good. Matter of fact, I hurt my arm in furniture, my wrist, because I'm always carrying furniture. I hurt my wrist for like a year. What was it? Did I punch something?
Yeah.
You looked at me. Well, then I don't remember. I thought it was furniture.
There's your front door.
I punched my front door.
Yeah. You couldn't get in one night.
Oh. That's why I say career. Drink career. I don't remember that.
Yeah.
So I jacked up I jacked up my arm. And so I'm wearing this wrist brace. And so I learned to throw darts left-handed.
And you got good.
And I got good at it. Dave could hit bullseyes. And Dave was
You
good.
guys weren't roommates, were you?
No.
Okay.
No, but we would get up there, and Dave may or may not have played for a can of Copenhagen or two that may be worth a few more dollars than a can of Copenhagen. I never gambled because I'm not a gambler. I hate gambling.
Brett would have played for shots back in the day.
I played for shots.
Okay.
And I like to have fun. So a fun little bet wager, but I'm not this big wagering guy. I just don't like it. It's not. I've had enough vices in my life. You know, it's not my thing. But I would play with Dave, and Dave would be playing against boys, and we would get in a tournament where it was like the win. And Dave would all of a sudden his athletic, dude, he would get so zeroed in golf, and like it's killing him not to swing the because he can't balance on his foot, and so
I'm about to start though. I gotta just learn a new way to swing a golf club.
So which leg is it? Which is your bad or your worst leg?
The left one
Is your worst?
Yep.
That's up to
and
his.
you're a right-handed hitter.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So you can't
Yeah.
really twist.
Yeah.
But I was a .3 handicap.
He could play some golf. I mean, he would take a club. He could put it where he wanted. I cannot. So I could drive the cart and drink while drinking Fireball. I was really good at that.
It was talent.
I have a picture of 2015 or 14?
14.
2014.
Still playing.
We were up at the local
Fleming
Island, and all the boys there. We had the golf ball tournament for the baseball boys, and we were playing. Me and the guy that owns Chicago Pizza, and Dave, and one other guy, and I had sponsored a hole, and we're just having a good time, man. And I don't play golf much, and I started drinking Fireball, and I got pretty good and lit, man. And I'm going, Fireball! And, man, I was snapping the shit out of that ball. It was straight 270. And so I just kept saying, and I think I played the best golf until about halfway through when the Fireball really kicked in.
It got too much.
And then it was just, I was fireballing into the woods, and I thought I was doing good. I wanted to wrestle gators. I was trying to. The gators would not sit still for me to ride them. I really swear I could have got that leash on them and rode it. Have you seen that old man? And this is where you're out and about. We are looking for someone to get involved in this, because what happens on the screen is we can downsize us. Like, matter of fact, while we're doing this, pull up the Chamber of Commerce. You'll see it come up here, but he's able to downsize us and show it. I want a young person that while you're talking about something like Iron Mountain, Michigan, boom, we go small, and now Iron Mountain, Michigan's there.
Oh, that's
and yeah, so as you go out and about, friends, family, there's no money in it right now. And if there ever is, then sure. But for right now, it's for the love of
it's
this.
Up on the screen.
And then, so that's what they'll be seeing. And so, but anyways, there was that. So when I was saying this, somebody would be looking it up, and we would play it.
I thought you were going to ask about somebody that could wrestle a gator.
No, this guy did.
That guy.
No, not the one that saved his dog. We've all seen that.
Is this the guy that was in the ditch?
He was in the ditch, and he's trying to mess with the gator, and the gator snatched around and bit him and got a hold of him, like his arm, and he realized that gator wasn't just to play with.
No.
So
Catherine's getting ready to go on a trip with some people that are going to go down somewhere, and I'm not sure, off Black Creek, and they're going to go. They got licenses to get one. And they're going to get one. Yeah.
Well, let me tell you something, sir. And I know you were way further up than me, and I know you're very modest. But the only person I talked to is Ronnie Robinson, and I've told. Yeah, it's easy. And I did tell him too. I said, "Listen, y'all need to turn these up. We got to get rid of these gators. They're killing them. That and pythons. People don't realize how many pythons are in." And see, somebody would be pulling this up. I watch all these stupid documentaries. These pythons now
they're even here.
Yes. And they're killing all the indigenous things. And so stuff doesn't work right. And we've already, discombobulated all the waterways in Florida,
I was walking on 739B, Sandridge Road.
Yeah.
Walking on it, and there's a little creek that goes from one side to the other. It's been a few years ago, and I was over this little creek that was going under into a pond, retention pond, and I looked down, and I'm not kidding you, it must have been 8-10 inches.
Yep.
Snake going through that thing.
Yep.
It just kept going on and on. I said something, and it kind of came back around. And I'm not kidding you, that head was was unbelievable.
It'll eat you. I mean, a little dog, a child.
I mean, are you a kid? You drop into that pond or something, or it gets you.
It's going to take you under. So I don't. I'm glad they're doing that. But I mean, you go to Okefenokee Swamp. We all know you can get. Dave has never done this, so I'm going to take Dave to Okefenokee, a New Jersey boy. Now he's been in Florida forever, but gators he ain't been close to. Dave, These boats sit low, and I got control, which means I can turn them off.
Airboats? Those airboats?
No. Well, back in the day, it was just a little 5 mile per hour. You could rent a little John boats, and you can ride around and
Have a good time.
and all of a sudden there's hundreds of gators just start swimming towards you.
I used to go canoeing down the Hillsborough River
Oh, really?
in Tampa.
Yeah.
And I mean, you had
Yep.
13-foot alligators just laying on the
Yep.
bank while you're going by them. It's like, okay, don't come.
I was the kind that I like my children. I let my children be what 80s kids were. If they died, they died.
Yeah.
You know, and don't judge me, people. Look at your kids. Look where they are. They're still in your house. Okay? Shut up. Anyways, I'm just kidding.
Just like
That's why I love podcasts.
It's crazy. Like you heard about the lady that died from an alligator like a week ago.
Yeah.
They
No,
were,
I did not.
They were
Go ahead.
canoeing down a 2.5-foot deep canal.
In
And
Florida?
yeah.
Obviously,
And the canoe went over the alligator's back and it freaked out, flipped the
kicked the canoe.
She landed on top of the alligator and the husband watched the alligator eat his wife.
Well, I will tell you, the mother of my children is a dear person. She's a kind woman, and I care deeply about her. Whether she's in my house, out of my house, wherever, it doesn't matter. Just a good woman. Would you agree, Dave?
Absolutely.
Probably one of the finest people you'd ever
Yeah.
meet. Yeah. So we're down in the Bahamas with all the wood you stuff. There's actually wood you furniture still in Nassau, and there's one in Trinidad. And when we were big, we'd opened down there. Well, we didn't. Bahamians have to own the business, so he still owns it down there. It's not associated with me. So when we went down there, he took us to this resort area because he knows everybody, and we're sitting there swimming. Well, first they feed the sharks. They take this big old rope and they throw it out in the ocean, and it's all they're all bringing it all in, and these sharks finally come up, and we have our feet to the sand and our goggles, and it's all cute, right? And you watch these big old sharks come up, and look, I used to surf a lot. I was this finger. And when I've got brushed by, you get brushed by a shark and come talk to me. And last time I really surfed was I was about 17, 18, and I broke my board. That's a whole nother story. I got brushed by a shark. So sharks and me, we've had our moments. I'm done with them. The ocean, that's all y'all. Gators, I can handle. So we're sitting there, they're feeding these sharks, and then they decide, wow, now that we fed these sharks, let's all go snorkeling. Fucking idiots.
Under the shark area.
No, it's a big area. Sure, the sharks are gone. And so we all go snorkeling all together. Everybody stay together. We got a guide. So I'm not really paying attention. It is beautiful. I mean, they've got, beautiful fish down there in the Bahamas, and I'm snorkeling. Now I'm sort of getting into the moment. I'm just going, and Dawn Marie was following me, and we sort of got away from the crowd. I'm following, and I look up, man, and I've been in the ocean a long time surfing. I was always just early morning, late night. And so I know the ocean, and I was under, and I had goggles, and I see this gray mass, and it's a good ways away, but it's coming our way, right? And little Miss Dawn Marie, she's just an innocent, sweet, Jesus loving mother, and she's just so sweet and just swimming, following her sweet, loving husband, and I went, ooh, I swam.
Did you put her in front of you?
Shut up, Dave. I didn't consciously think, now what should I do? This was instinctual. Okay, before I knew it, I was on the other side of her. I was the breadwinner. Somebody had to we had little kids, Dave. So I got on the other side of her. I didn't even know I was doing it. I was scared to death because I was way far away.
Right.
They say initially, don't splash, don't kick. And so I get on the other side of her, and then I call her over to come, and I'm keeping my eye on the shark. She had no idea. And then I finally told on myself, yeah, I'm not proud of it. Okay, it's not my proudest moment, but it happened. And I hope one day that I would be able to stand in front of a shark, but I don't think so. I think I would put you and me between me and the shark, Dave. Like if a bear comes.
Just hope he bites the metal
Who's
leg.
the fastest?
I love Dave. No, Dave's been with me 15. I've known him probably 15, 18 years. He's a great man. But if there's a bear coming, I got a better shot. And so having Dave around, I enjoy his friendship, but there are added benefits as well. So,
Like I said, we just have to hope he bites the lower left leg.
that would be hilarious. He wouldn't know what to do.
Nope.
Oh my gosh,
Spit
this
you
thing
out,
is.
let you go.
Oh. Did you know you were going to leave the paper? I mean, was it a planned time?
No, No, it was.
Did you start getting a feeling?
Well, I was on and off the chamber board for years.
Right.
Just board member, and then you're off, you're back on, and they actually asked me to be their media like representative, which could be a committee member, because I ran the paper. So what better guy to have on your board than the guy that runs the paper that can run all these articles,
right?
Freebie
Smart,
stuff.
smart.
So I knew how it ran, and I knew, a lot of the constitutional officers and your sheriff and all these people. I just and a lot of business people.
Right.
I've gotten to know over the years of being in Clay County, and so it was probably 5 years ago when they were starting to have some struggles with some leadership. I actually was on the board, and I said, if you all have any interest, I'd be glad to step in and help. And they all kind of no.
Right.
And I thought, okay. So I just shut up and let it go for a few years, and then it happened again, and I knew they were really struggling this time, and so I said,
Are we talking about financially or?
Probably both.
Okay, gotcha.
COVID,
just leadership,
COVID
basically.
had come and gone.
Understood.
And they
a lot of people struggled
during COVID. They put membership on made everybody a courtesy member. So when your business exists,
so
based
why
on your
pay
membership, and they make you a courtesy and say you don't have to pay. We understand it's hard for you. So you can be a member and don't worry about paying us. So when they do that, how do you pay your staff and pay your rent and all that stuff? So that's what they had done, and it was almost done for the chamber. So they asked, they said, hey, this has happened. And I said, well, what do I have to do? And they said, well, send your resume to this person. And so there was about 80 people that applied across the country. But my best thing was, I guess, that I knew people here.
Yeah.
I had relationships with Clay County. So I think there was an interview process. It took like 4 months. It was crazy, and so my
lot of vetting.
It was a lot of that, and just waiting, and then it went down to from whatever 80 to 40 to 20 to 10 to 3, and then there was the final 3, and so we all had to go in and talk, and so we had to 2 interviews, and so that last interview I took in. I thought, hey, look, we know each other. The other people the 2 other applicants were local, and I said, what can set me aside, or what can make me different than what they're going to say about how great they are, why they think they'd be the person. And, I didn't know I had a job. And I had not told Clay today that I was doing it, or I was interested. I said, I'll do this, and if it happens. And so I thought, well, I know a lot of the members that have dropped out. They were unhappy with what was happening. So I went to, I don't know, a dozen or so. And sort of that last interview, I think I took $12,000 worth of membership dues.
Wow.
And I thought, I'll just do that. And I said, but y'all know me. You already know the deal. Here's so I made like a ledger sheet, business, phone number, name, all that stuff. And I had either checks or credit card numbers or whatever. And I said, I just thought I'd bring money instead. And they were all like, you got to be kidding me. So it was cool.
So you injected,
I just brought them some money, and then they teased at one point, and they said, what? Maybe we'll do this next month also. And I was like, yeah. but that, and I don't know, that was it, the reason. But I thought, why not do something that's fruitful and helpful for the chamber and bring them some membership dues?
Yeah.
And anyhow.
And make it a livelihood.
Yeah, it's fun. And so they said, okay.
Now, do you run every year? Do you?
No. It's and there was several people said you need to have a contract, because it's one of those positions where
gotcha.
A lot of them have had contracts where they say, well, make sure you get a 5-year contract or a 10-year or 6-year, whatever. And I said, look, I'm not a believer in contracts. I think that if you got a board, you've got 14, 15 people on our board. If I'm not doing the kind of job you need to, and you tell me where I need to be, and I disregard your thoughts on it, fire me. I don't need the job. I mean, I don't.
You've never
I
found
believe that.
You've never found a place where you felt like you knew the best path and you've driven it there. Do you feel like?
Well, I mean, you mean here with the chamber?
Yeah.
Or, I mean, well, I just
because you are a leader. I mean, we elect you because
yeah.
You lead well.
Yeah, well,
I like seeing you up there.
Yeah. So I just said I didn't want a contract.
Gotcha.
And so they hired me, and I have no contract, and so it's really up to that board. But as of right now, I mean, every month, it's almost 3 years. Actually, it's 3 years this month, June, and we're climbing. We're doing good. They said get us in the black, so we're in the black. We're growing. We're membership.
You got
growing.
me. I've never joined a chamber.
It's just and it's just we're having fun. We're trying to. We got so many dang things we're doing, and of course, that's not everybody can go to everything.
Yeah, that's
hopefully
rough.
somebody can plug into something.
Yeah,
that'll help them grow their.
But what a great problem to have.
Yeah, it is.
Your Finally Friday has just.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm actually. What's going to happen is, I'm gonna start sending Dave when I can't come.
You should come.
No,
You'd like it.
yeah, and because we're members, and I told him, I said the food's great.
Yeah.
You know, and the fellowship. He loves chit chatting as well and networking. And I in business was never a good networker. I just was nose to the grindstone, work. I don't know what vacation is. I still don't. But then I looked up and I needed something. I needed help with something. And I had inside my circle in business, I had it, but outside in life, I don't. And people like yourself, I watch, and I'm like, I need more of that. I need more of, because I've had some chamber people call me, Jason, text me.
Gil.
And I noticed that, I noticed I never got back to him. I love that guy.
He's great.
I'd love to go have lunch with him.
He's
And he didn't invite me to lunch, but he said, hey, give me a call back. And that's where I'm like, I get so busy in the day and fighting and banks and SBA loans. And this has been, there's seasons in life. This season for me right now has been a grind. It's been about 8-9 years. And it's a war right now. Not in sales necessarily, but there's a bank. They want this building. United Community, you suck.
Here's a weekly shout out.
You're not getting it. They told me they were going to pay my taxes, and we were doing a new loan during COVID, without any cards. I had beat them up and gotten a rate lower, and I was actually putting that wall in right there. And so I paid my son's car off. And the day before, I called the bank rep. I said, "Okay, so we're rolling my taxes into the new loan." Yes, awesome. I get to pay my son. He's a grown man. It was the last thing I had for him, and now he can go trade it in. I paid it off. The next day, I was screwing in that door, and the phone rang, and I said, "This ought to be interesting."
He didn't even look at the phone. He's like,
I knew.
Heard the phone.
I knew it was coming.
I need a minute.
I knew the phone rang. Sometimes you have those moments. I said, "This is going to be interesting." I just knew. I looked. It was his number. Put the phone up to my ear. And he said, "Hey, just want to let you know we're not going to be able to roll." Because I called him, told him I was putting the money in. He knew that was my last liquid capital. And he said, "We're not rolling it in. They want this building because the value's gone up." And all my liquid capital is tied up into my house because I don't owe much, if anything. And it's none of y'all's business. And so SBA's in between me and that, and they won't let me take any. There were some lean years, and it was tight. And God comes.
Yeah.
When I'm weak is when he likes to flex.
Yes.
And I'm not talking about financially. I am not a prosper kind of a guy. I believe that there's a local preacher from Harvest Baptist. He's old school. Y'all won't like him, a lot of y'all. Preacher McCormick. And he had Camp Tracy and everything years and years and years ago. And he told me one day he had bought a farming, and the farm food, that they would raise stuff and they would go take it and sell it. And I was over there bitching and whining. It was 2004 because I had a Nissan Titan with 22s, just beautiful, that was paid off in cash because I was living such a difficult life. You get what I'm saying? I mean, what a idiot I was. And I'm sitting there talking to this man and whining and bitching about corporate wood you and how it was blowing up and exhausting me and all the way. God, I hate that guy now. And he was over there getting all this corn, working hard. I mean, his hands are just, He said, "Brett." I said, "Yes, sir." I respect the hell out of him. He said, "Yes, sir." He said, "You see all this corn and watermelons and all this?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "I had a contract, handshake, to sell all this. It's going to help feed these kids in here. These kids are like street kids, hookers, and he takes them in. They don't want, and it was rough, and he would bring them back, and there was some ugly parts to it as well that he had no part in. End up shutting them down. And so he said, "Yeah, I had a contract to sell all this." Guy stood me up. Perishables, they're going to go bad. That's how he talked. It was just short, sweet, to the point. He goes, "Nothing I can do about it. Going to donate them. See you later." He says, "I don't think God much cares whether or not I make money. I think he cares how I respond to whether or not I make money." And he was gone. And I'm trying to keep these bulls off my truck as I try to shut the gates, Brett. I'm like, he was that kind of guy. And he's alive to this day. He's a good man. He's a mentor of mine. In mind a lot. I don't talk to him as much, but I remember that. And in life, I don't think it matters whether I keep this building, whether I lose it, whether I do great in business, whether you succeed, whether they say get out of here. It's what do I do next? How do you get to that next?
You feel like you're having it's a test, and I think that without a test, there's not a testimony. on how we got through it or how God got us through something.
There it
It's
is.
Him. It's about Him.
Right.
Yep.
And He knows. And I think where I see so many get confused, and I'm not here judging, so I'll tell my story. Where I can get confused is the voice I hear in my head isn't God. It's me. If it's speaking negative, my God doesn't talk like that.
Mm-hmm.
He's there to encourage and to support and to grow and to nurture. And yes, to be there to comfort. Because I'm good at picking out my faults.
No.
And we're all we are hard. You are a hard critic of yourself, I would imagine.
You got that right.
Yep. So and Matt Blythe, and I'll give a shout out to him. He wrote a book. I got to get the name of that book, Dave. He flew planes in for the Tebows and everything. The Tebows went down to First Baptist, and I'd gone down there, and so the Tebows and all of us, we sort of knew the families and all. It was fun. My sister used to go to the Philippines with the Tebows, and so she used to. She's 5'2", and she used to babysit Tim Tebow. And it's just neat stories and everything. And I totally got sidetracked because I was talking about Tim Tebow, and I'm a Tebow lover. So that's why I wouldn't do good writing articles. You'd be like, Brett, deadline.
Speaking of that, how long do we go today,
We're
brother?
wrapping it up here right now.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I don't
Listen,
know what time it is.
I have no
What
idea.
time is it? It is 3:45.
Yeah. See, usually if you and I kept talking and didn't look, we'd go another 2 hours, 3 hours.
Yeah.
It was an absolute pleasure
Amazing.
having you here.
Oh man, I loved it.
What I get out of it, and there was a reason that I said reading the white behind the black letters, because they always say read the black letters, not the white words.
Mm-hmm.
But your world has a lot to do with. Hang on with it. Your world has a lot to do with reading the white between the black, because you work in a very abstract place, and it's human dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
There's books on it, but there's not an actual real equation on that human dynamics, because everybody has their own life experiences which change that.
Mm-hmm.
And to watch you ebb and flow through that, and the abilities to do that is a skill set that few have. And it's not political, and it's not bullshit, because I think the one thing you bring and why I wanted you on here so bad is what our tagline is. I don't think no, I do. You are authentically raw, but in a healthy way. And what I would like to do is have more of that authentic rawness without my brutal honesty mouth. I'm serious.
I love it, man.
And that's what I take when I see you. You remind me to be, because I always try to take something from everybody, even if they're the worst person in the world. I can go, I don't want that. I learned to raise my children off some stuff my parents did that I hated, and it was some of the greatest tools I used.
We do.
Learn from the uglies.
I hope the best for everybody. I want that, like you said. Same thing. I want everybody to succeed. There's just some people that you look at and you go, it's just not going to happen.
Last question.
And I hate that. I hate that fact that when you can see that business is not going to survive. When you want everybody to thrive.
Yep. Last question. No, I'm ending with there. I'm going to bring him back. He'll be back, folks. But first, we're going to bring Miss Kathy in here real shortly. We'll start bugging her this week. Maybe we'll get her next week.
Yeah.
But I could push one guy back. If not, we'll do it in a couple weeks.
Okay.
Episode 30, if you like this and you hang around, share, tell your friends about us. Let us grow. Let us help people. Listen, there's enough negativity out there. You have the opportunity to grow from people, to learn from mistakes without you having to fall in the holes. I'll tell you my stupid stories, but you find men like this and women in our lives that represent things I don't have. In order to get that, you got to have self-reflection. You got to be able to tell myself, I suck at this. And if I can't get to that point, it doesn't matter what kind of skill sets other people have, I'm never going to be able to attain them. So that's why I bring people on here that have things I don't have, and I'm able to just say it brutally honest without crumbling. Because, see, my weaknesses have no power in my life. And when you get to that point, there is a growth level that is just fucking powerful. I cuss a little bit. I don't apologize. Hey, episode 31.
Thank you very
Wait
much,
till you
man.
hear it. John,
Thank you, man.
what an absolute pleasure.
Appreciate you.
I'm going to be bugging you again because he's coming back. We'll see you at episode 31. See ya. Ow.
Yeah, I learned to stay strong. Concrete in the dirt, I was
phenomenal.
raised
Oh, hang on a
on.
second, I gotta
Know how
listen.
to
You're
put
good.
in work. Grinding all day, you know it's game on. My skin is thick,
That was
yeah, it's
great,
tough.
John.
That was fun, man.
Running, yeah, we stay alive. Ain't gotta look nowhere else.
Bye.